Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's the episode 2 of the Behind the Scenes podcast for Yorkshire Podcast Studios. Lots of podcasting involved in that. Lots of podcasting involved in this series. And today we're going a bit behind the scenes, talking to David Easson about his role at Yorkshire Podcast Studios. David Easson, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, we know your name.
About me.
What else is there to know? As they would say on the quiz programmes, who are you? Where'd you come from?
Who am I? Well, I'm David Easson. I come from Liverpool. Yes, I've kind of found myself at Yorkshire Podcast Studios in many ways. One way, and this is where I've ended up, and also I found my place in life. I'm the managing director of Yorkshire Podcast Studios, and it's my job to kind of organise people and get them into position, work on these incredible studios that we've got here, and to kind of create new content on a regular basis. Great working with lots of different people. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride so far.
One of the things with this Meet the Teams kind of feature on this podcast is that I'm going to ask the same questions to everybody involved with YPS.
It's not good interviewing.
But
we're going
to have to change this one because it basically says what initially attracted you to this company. I mean, we both got in this together at the same time for the same reasons, basically, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think it was the main attraction of what we're doing now. I think that's the main, because that's what we kind of morphed into from what we started and continue to do in the studios here at YPS is it's that every day is a school day kind of thing. We're learning new things about business, about podcasting, about brand building, about all the kind of different kinds of people who are coming in to use what we've got here. I think it's just that every day you're learning more about. I'm learning more about business in particular, but also the content you can produce and the effectiveness of it in the marketplace. And whether that is an entertainment podcast, a sports podcast, a business podcast, and the way that that's just not the be-all and end-all, because once you've made a podcast, you can create so much off the back of it.
Take us back in time to the start of your working life. What brought you work-wise into Yorkshire Podcast Studios?
Oh, blimey, it's been a long way. So I started as a broadcast journalist, as a newsreader. If you've listened to a commercial radio station in the north, I've probably read the news on it. I've probably done some sport on it as well. I've probably as commentator and football reporter. And I freelanced around the north for a very long time. I then moved to Sheffield for an actual real job,
Really?
which I got reading the news on the breakfast.
You've had one of those, have you?
And I've had 3, 4 now. If you can't work in Ladbrokes as a no, don't count that. So I learnt my trade in radio, and that background, that baseline for me, is what still continues all the way through. I'm all about weirdly, although I'm in recording, it's the live nature of radio. It's the fact that radio is the voice. It is immediate. It is right in your lug holes. And live radio to me is the most exciting thing that I've been a part of, because it's about people telling you their stories. Yeah. And I think that has flowed into what we do with podcasting really, really easily. I think that is the basis of everything that we do in podcasting and even in the brand building and getting to know people in different companies. The only way you get to know somebody is by listening to them and hearing them tell their tale. And remarkably, I am interested in most of the stories that people put into these microphones here at YPS.
I was going to, what skills or experiences have you taken from previous work into here? I mean, that's basically it, isn't it?
It's listening. It's being interested, being actively interested in what people are doing. And I like to think that when we're working and producing with people, what we don't do, and we say this to customers as they come in, we don't just press record and say, right, off you go, talk. What we like to do here is to get involved, to give our 2 pence in a way. And I think that really helps, and people do appreciate it, because it is a big step to move into podcasting. It's a big step to put yourself in front of the microphone. A lot of people, I was talking to a few last week actually in terms of business, who want to do this, and they're like, I do, but no, not me. And I think I can train most people to do this. I think I can get people behind the mic and look and feel confident. All it takes is that just an inkling that you can do this. And I really believe that. And as much as I might step in from time to time and do a bit of presenting on certain podcasts, I would much rather see people do their own work because they believe in what they're talking about, they know what they're talking about. And it's only like standing in front of a group of people in a meeting.
And that passion and enthusiasm you've got for your own subject comes through, doesn't it?
Of course, yes, 100%. You've got that. You've got the knowledge, and it's a sales technique. It's a marketing tool that we're creating here, and it's about knowing what you're talking about, and that's your job. That's your role. If you're in marketing and you know what you're there to market, it's just a matter of putting that into. It's not even into a script. It's not a speech. It's just giving forth, having a conversation actually with someone else who knows what they're talking about, and the bounce that you have in that kind of conversation engages people so much more than just a lecture.
What's a typical day in the life of David Easson?
I don't think there is one, really. Whether it's coming in here and recording, whether it's working with our content producers, whether it's working with people who are coming in new and looking at the studios, giving them tours, and seeing how they look at the studio and go, we can see ourselves in here. I love that when people come into YPS and just are inspired by the spaces that we've got. And yeah, just coming up with new content ideas. And yeah, there is no typical day. I still do other bits and pieces. I still go off and do some football reporting and podcasting of my own. So there isn't a typical day, but it's usually busy.
It's one of the beauties that there isn't a typical day, I think. What one project or achievement, this can be YPS or from a previous life,
right.
What one project or achievement are you particularly proud of?
Oh, well, you can't talk to me without talking about the Olympics because I have won the 100. No,
so quick, nobody saw it.
I know, it's quick as a flash. I've done 7 Olympic Games. I've covered everyone since London and some youth games as well in between that. Part of when I was a freelancer, I was able to find all sorts of interesting gigs that weren't just kind of Aldershot on a Saturday for Soccer Saturday. And I got the London gig, and I was making TV pieces for the Olympics themselves, for the host broadcaster, OBS. And having made the TV pieces, profiles of athletes, profiles of venues, you then get to interview the athletes with the medals after and to be the first live interviewer for the world. And I continue to do that. And I'm just back from a remarkable 4 weeks or so in Paris, where kind of the Olympics was kind of felt reborn post-COVID. But it's, and again, that's about stories. That's about people. That's about incredible individuals, incredible teams, duos. So I was at the rowing, I was at the cycling, I was in the middle of the velodrome in Paris, as I was in Tokyo as well. And just to be able to see incredible acts of sporting endeavour and the result of 4 years of toil, and then just to grab people as they've won a gold medal or a silver medal or a bronze, and they're all delighted in so many different ways, and just to be able to grab those emotions just by sticking a microphone in front of somebody's face. It's by far the most inspirational time in my career whenever I go, and I'm hoping that Milan next year, if anyone wants to employ me there again, happily go there, however cold it may be.
How would you describe the company culture in your own words?
I think if you can be relaxed but focused, I think we enjoy what we're doing, and that should kind of flow into what you do when you come here to YPS, and that's hopefully the culture that we imbue into everything that we produce here.
What one thing do you think sets this company apart from others in this same industry?
I know going on about people. The facilities we have, I think, are really top notch, and the spread and different studios we've got here, combined with the people who will work with you when you're here. But the facilities we've got, other podcast studios have great studios, but it might just be one of them. But the third thing is that sometimes it can feel a bit like a factory in podcast studios, and I always liken it to like a five-a-side court where you've got your hour, you come in 10 minutes, set up, and then 5 minutes before the end, someone throws the ball in.
Yeah. Now sling your hook.
Get out.
Yeah.
This is our time. It's not like that here. We make sure that you've got the time to work with us, and we've got time to work with you, and that means that you create the best content you can.
What do you love most about working for YPS?
Oh, it's the people. No, actually, it's the meeting lots of different people, and the way that when they come in, and hearing what they've got to say, and the fact that they really want to work it out, and that you can be the person who works it out for them, and they find their way forward, and being able to actually to be able to use bits and pieces that I've learned in past career, which I wouldn't have thought might have flowed into this.
What's the best piece of advice you've received in your career?
Oh, people don't advise me.
Stop it, Dave. Don't do it anymore.
I think it came out of, it was repeated again in 2 of our current podcasts, which was don't get too excited by the highs and don't get too down by the lows. If someone had told me that a long time ago, I would have made things a lot easier.
It's easier said than done, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
The other one is that it'll always be okay, which is as a bit of a mantra rather than advice. It's for me, it's kind of similar. If you don't get wound up by things that are slightly going wrong, because it will all be okay. There's always a route out of whatever difficulty you're in. So that's, I suppose it's just that kind of take a breather.
Yeah. How do you maintain a good work-life balance?
My wife tells me to come home. This is pretty much it, really. What happened a few years back, because I don't think my work-life balance was very good, mainly because as a freelancer, as a journalist, you were just constantly waiting on a Monday, particularly as a football journalist, you were waiting on a Monday for the call, which may or may not come, and if it wasn't there by the end of play on Tuesday, you weren't doing anything on Saturday, which meant that you weren't earning any money on Saturday.
And as a freelancer, I know this to my cost, you don't tend to say no to much, do you? You tend to accept jobs because you can't afford to turn them down.
Yeah, and so, you've got to, when the sun is shining, kind of keep playing cricket. It's well, keep playing football. Yeah, so I was constantly looking for new things and doing new things, and I decided that, when my dad passed away a couple of years ago, it was kind of weekends would be for family, and also to just, if you get the chance to do something fun, go and do it. Which my bank balance doesn't thank me for right now, but it just means that I've had taking little ones to Lapland and things and doing things which you would never think to do. Just being a bit more. Yeah, it's not 50-50 work life, because you do have to work more to enjoy the life bits. But it's also, when you've got the life bits, enjoy the life bits. Don't just rest.
No,
you've got to do something to enjoy it, which means you might miss a day in work because you can't focus anymore. But you've got to have the balance, because what are we doing this for otherwise?
Yeah. Outside of work, what are some of your hobbies or interests?
Stressing over Liverpool Football Club. That's it. What do I like to do?
It might come out from the next question. 3 dinner party guests. I mean, are they all going to be Liverpool football players?
No, because footballers are boring. Even the ones I respect and love dearly. I don't think there's a great one I'd rather... Unless you were going to say someone like Johan Cruyff, who I think would be an interesting conversation. I don't have dinner parties. That's the other thing. No, I like sport. I like a decent pint of real ale. I like a glass of wine. I need to do more of the fine dining and things like that. I like to travel. Travel is it. I mean, I've been able to travel across the world with the Olympics, and to be able to do that without having to do some work at the same time is incredible. I actually like being in airports, which is a bit weird. I don't just go to airports, but the idea of travelling is just, I love it.
It's part of the magic, isn't it?
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, there is occasional pain to it. So what do you want, 3 dinner party guests?
Yeah, you go Johan Cruyff.
Live or dead?
Yeah. We can revive them for this dinner party.
Who would I have? So see, 2016 was a terrible time for celebrity deaths. So all the people I would have wanted at my dinner parties would be there. So I would have Victoria Wood,
Yeah.
David Bowie, and who else at my dinner party?
Alan Rickman died that year as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
You could have him.
actors are good for chat.
Yeah.
He would be good. I think. My two idols in life are Paul McCartney and Kenny Dalglish. I've got problems with both because one is unintelligible, but apparently very funny.
Yeah.
And I don't think Paul McCartney talks enough about the things you really want to know.
Yeah.
So I don't think he remembers stuff. So I'm really, you'd be like, well, do you remember when you recorded in Day Trip? And you go, no. It's so frustrating. So you want someone who's going to be interesting to go with. To go with Bowie and Victoria Wood. Good actor, maybe actress. Alan Rickman might be good, actually.
I think he'd be value.
Someone like that who's got a bit of a raconteur. Maybe I was going to say Oliver Reed, but the dinner party might go off.
He'd have no alcohol left after about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Some kind of raconteur, Peter Ustinov or someone like that. Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone joining YPS, what would it be?
Make sure you can do lots of things. That's the editing, the production, but mainly it's listen. It's listen to people around you. It's listen to the customers, the clients. Listen to what they want, because we're not here to kind of say this is how you do it. If you've got an idea that you want to put into practice, we will make it happen for you to the best of our ability and see if it works all right for you. More than all right. See if it works to the best possible way for you. I just think if you're coming in, you need to be aware that this is an industry which is growing so quickly and changing in so many ways, almost daily, certainly weekly. There's a new kind of, this is the route we're going down now. I think you've just got to be flexible, but the main thing is keep those ears open and listen to what people are saying.
Final question.
Okay.
What are you most excited about for the future of your career and for YPS's future?
Just seeing more and more of these kind of podcast productions, that brand building that we're getting into now, and we're seeing people coming in more saying, not that people want podcasts, but they want them for a certain reason, and that is to get that brand out there, and that is to grow them personally, but also the business as well. And I suppose as we see our business grow, if our business is growing, that means that we're doing something right, which means that other businesses are growing too.
Yeah.
So actually, something I've never had as a freelance individual journalist has been, apart from the 2 or 3 jobs I was able to attain, and I kept for nearly a year. But I didn't like being in a business. Anyway, they didn't like me being in the business, so I never got fired. To see business grow and to grow as part of a kind of a city and an area, a region, to see people who come in with an idea and a small business to grow into something much bigger, and we can be a huge part of that, I think.
There you go. A little bit about David Easson. David Easson, thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope that was enough, a big enough part of me.
I think it was excellent. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again soon on Behind the Scenes. We are Yorkshire Podcast Studios. Make sure you have a look and come and see us.